Steve, let's start first off with the airworthiness directive that you issued late last night, essentially saying these all have to be inspected. Every single titanium hollow fan blade on these PW4000 engines, basically we're only talking at United 777s right now, they all need to be inspected. What is the main issue? What is the main concern that you have right now?
Well, good morning, Phil. It's a pleasure to be with you. We actually announced that we were going to take emergency airworthiness directive action on Sunday within about 24 hours of this event occurring. And it took the next couple of days to work with Pratt and Whitney and with Boeing to gather the data, the initial investigative data, and make this determination about what the airworthiness directive would consist of. But as you said last night, we decided to put out a directive that before further flight, we would inspect each one of these fan blades. They are a design. It's a very reliable engine. The 777 is one of the most reliable airplanes ever built, but we will require inspections before further flight.
Now, we've had other issues, similar issues with these PW4000 engines. You had a similar engine failure in Japan last year. United had a similar type of engine failure issue with this engine on a 777 a couple of years ago. And at that time, he said, look, inspect these every 6,500 flights. Is this a systemic issue? Are you concerned that you've got not just one incident here now, but you've got several incidents, or at least three, and it raises the question, is there a systemic issue with the safety of these PW4000 engines?
Well, again, I want to be clear, Phil. This is not all PW4000 engines. It's this specific design with this type of fan blade. And so the other models of the PW4000 are not affected. But as you said, the inspections will identify if they are properly accomplished. They will identify these issues as they crop up. And we were in the process last week, actually, of reviewing the incident in Japan, which was not as significant of a failure as we saw in Denver, but we were already ratcheting down the inspection cycle because the inspections will identify these cracks as they develop. Remember, they're developing on the inside. So this is not a visual inspection. It takes about 8 hours to inspect each blade, and each engine has 22 fan blades in it.
Steve, what do you say to the flying public who looks at the images, or they look at the images from last weekend? They're horrific for anybody who can imagine themselves on this type of a flight looking out the window and seeing the engine on fire, or they see the debris that is strewn all over Broomfield, Colorado. What do you say to the public who looks at this and says, I'm just not sure that all of the inspections that should be done are being done on the aircraft and the engines that are carrying us around the country?
Well, we have worked very hard over the decades to make sure that the U.S. aviation system and that we influence aviation safety around the globe so that it's at the highest possible levels. And the safest mode of travel in human history is traveling by air on a commercial airline in the United States or on a U.S. carrier. And these actions that we're taking are extremely conservative, and they are designed to make sure that our aviation system continues to be as safe as it has been historically, and that it continues to become even safer in the future.
Steve, last question for me. How long do you expect these inspections to take? I know it's 8 hours per fan blade, but how long before you guys might be able to say, with Pratt and Whitney as well as United Airlines, yeah, these are good to go again?
It'll take some time initially, but as we learn more, remember, this is an interim action. This is an immediate action that we're taking. So there will be follow-on analysis where we will look at the operating parameters around the engine, engine warm-up times, power settings, and also inspection protocols. There could be additional inspection protocols that are introduced that may change the cycles that you talked about, the number of flights that are required between inspections. But we'll continue to refine the directive going forward. But we wanted to make sure that we started out with looking at each engine individually.
Hey, Steve, thank you very much for joining us this morning. Go ahead, Becky.
Sorry, just quick question, Phil. Steve, you said something just now that kind of piqued my interest. The idea that you're going to look at engine warm-up times and things. Is it a guess or a theory anywhere that this could be a problem because of the temperature in an area, or because the engines weren't warmed up longer? Is there some sort of process that you all are kind of running through?
You always look at all of the parameters around how an engine is maintained, operated, the design itself, and the physical makeup of the components. So what I'm saying is we're going to take a holistic view at the entire safety system. In this case, the airplane performed extremely well, the pilots performed well, and we want to make sure that that the margin of safety, again, stays where it is.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.